Does Vancouver have good public transit? Certainly, like, amongst the best in Canada. Yeah. I mean, the trains are good. There's just not quite like there's not enough routes, but they're slowly chunking them out now and then when they get the political capital to push it. And the busing system is really good, but the problem with buses is that they go on the same roads as the cars. So, like, you know, if there's a lot of traffic and your destination is not on a train route, then you're still in traffic. But at least you can look on your phone while you're stuck in traffic instead of, like, you know, slowly pushing your foot down on the gas and then immediately pivoting it to the brakes and then, you know, just developing like plantar fasciitis because your city is a lot of traffic. I don't know if that's what plantar fasciitis is. I don't have a degree in podiatry. Doesn't mean I don't like to be stepped on, though. You learn a little bit on the job. I don't think you could handle LA traffic. Oh, don't worry. My ass would not be caught dead like being in LA for recreation. I know I take shots at like Boston from time to time because people who live there are like really rude. And then other people are like, no, I'm from Boston. They're actually the nicest people in the world. They're just rude to your face. But anybody would help you clear ice off your car windshield in a storm. They just would like call you a greasy pig fucker while you did it. But LA, like, there's just some things about this city that kind of baffle my mind. How could a city be that big and have no public transit? I understand that there's like a General Motors, lobbying thing. But like, they've had like 100 years past that to like fix it. The fact that LA is just pure sprawl, and whenever you go, like you could, any other city, the restaurants that you would want to go to as a tourist are centered largely around downtown and the surrounding neighborhoods. Even if you go to Boston, if you go to like your hotel concierge and go, where should I go to eat? They're like, here's 1,000 restaurants within a mile walk from you. In LA, if you're like, where should I eat? People are like, oh, where are you staying? And then you're like, oh, downtown LA, you know, the place that normally you would consider the center of, you know, the entertainment district. They're like, ooh, tough choice. What you're going to want to do is go to the airport, rent a car from the Avis rent-a-car terminal. And then, like, here's one place that's a 40-minute drive to the east. Here's one place that's a 40-minute drive to the north. If you wanted to, you could just quickly hop down to, like, San Diego. There's a great place that's down there. Also, never, ever drive between the hours of noon and 9 p.m. because that's rush hours. Like, a car designed the LA. Like, it's designed, like, I feel like in LA, you almost have the same lifestyle that someone has in, like, the suburban Midwest. But with the cost of living of being on, like, a coastal city. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, I have had some fun in LA. I've eaten some good food. But there were also, when I was in, I think I've been, well, I was in Orange County like 2 weeks ago, but we just stayed at Disneyland essentially. But I went to LA for E3 once. We stayed for like 5 days, and I was just, it would blow your mind. We're staying like in the center of downtown, and people are like, ooh, rough choice. You really should have stayed at, you know, in Ventura. And I'm like, fucking, then maybe it shouldn't be called LA. Maybe it should be called Ventura. LA could be the suburb. But that was when we were in the Magic. We're like, hey, is there any place in the city to buy Magic cards? People are like, oh yeah, from downtown, just take like a $27 Uber to the closest card shop. You're like, really? There's no place in downtown LA that is like a hobby shop at all? It's like 17 million people live here or something like that. It's mind-blowing. They are anti-nerd, I guess. Now do New York? Well, like, my problem with New York is just that, like, New York didn't invent weather. It's just cold in the wintertime. When I was in New York for Champions of Fire, it was like the middle of December, and I grew up, you know, just a little north of New York, I guess. So that weather is not super foreign to me. But that was the only negative part of being in New York. You could easily get around places. They have a subway that was built in like 1861. Like, no, oh, you can't do that. LA could never. Only number one thing, not a joke, that annoyed me about New York was just New Yorkers refusing to use Google Maps. And then saying, we don't need Google Maps. The streets are lined up so, like, efficiently that you just know where you need to go without it. And then, you know, POV, our ass getting lost because, like, two New Yorkers have a disagreement about the best way to get to a place. No, dude, you would never take 75th Avenue to get there. You're going to cut through Alphabet City because the blocks are wider. And then, hang on. Does anybody have Google Maps on their phone? Hang on. Anyway, like, at the end of the day, I'm not anti, like, any city, really. Like, obviously, there's things to like and hate in every city, but I don't think LA is for me. Well, I think, like, the thing, I can't rank cities to live in, because I've only lived in, you know, Vancouver and Daegu, South Korea, basically. But, like, for cities to visit, LA's at the bottom. Just because, like, it doesn't seem like a great city to be a tourist in unless you rent a car. If you rent a car, then maybe it's a different story. But as someone who, like, you know, I traveled for 10 years and never really thought that renting a car was necessary until we had a child who requires a car seat, I was like, really? I have to get on an airplane to fly someplace, and then when I land there, I have to rent a car? It just seems like a backwards concept to me. Like, if I was going to Minneapolis, I would be like, oh yeah, I need to rent a car. But LA? And San Diego, for that matter. Don't even get me started. I want to... listen, I got to be careful with San Diego, because I think that's where the librarian lives. I don't want to... r/Bellingham, I can take him. Los Angeles? Well, I don't know, because I feel like the bigger a city is, the more people are, like, on their subreddit, they're like, no, he's right. Things about this place kind of suck sometimes. Fair enough. Like, if I ranted about Vancouver and somebody posted the rant on our Vancouver, people would probably say, like, he didn't go in hard enough. The mountains actually aren't even as beautiful as he said they are. Source, I live in Surrey.